is up, YouTube? Shoto's here, and today I am back with another October video, and this is a Patreon request by Nevin Punzal from Patreon. This video is called Witcher 3 Secret of the Gaunter Odin. Witcher 3 lore. I don't think I haven't seen Witcher before, but this might be a good experience. So I'll leave a link in the description to the original video down below, so go check out the video for yourself and support the original maker of the video. And make sure to hit like, comment, subscribe for more videos in the future. Hit that notification bell. And if you want to be a member of the Hobidon squad, I would appreciate it if you hit that join button. I would really appreciate it if you did. Now, without further ado, let's get on to the video and get this over with. Besides, by the time I upload this, the new Smash Brothers character, Sora, is being downloaded, and I'm looking forward, and I am so happy I get to play as Sora. Okay, now let's get this started. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, this music. That's a nice throne room. Well, I wouldn't say it's a throne room. It's just a chair outside on the balcony. Okay.
This one time I shall spare you, and not grant your wish.
Oh.
All who have learned my true name are now either dead, or have met an even worse fate.
Try
Gaunter
me.
Odin, Master Mirror, the Man of Glass, the Merchant of Mirrors, or to some blissfully ignorant folk, simply a mangy vagrant with an eccentric affinity for word games and tricky riddles.
Yeah,
Whatever you choose
pretty much.
to call this man, beware of what he promises, for Gaunter Odin grants anybody whatever they wish, yet not precisely whatever they want.
So he's
And
like a
that subtle
djinn,
distinction
basically.
becomes
They're
abundantly
basically
clear to any foolish
evil
enough to
versions of
cross it.
genies.
It is a common trend for romantic humans to dress stories up with pretty words and descriptions, and for that reason,
Those are some
one
nice
would expect
sunflowers.
an encounter with a sinister being from beyond our realm to be unforgettably noteworthy. In reality, however, that is not how things work. Don't let
Okay,
his ordinary
how?
face
I'm
and
not
humble
impressed right
style
now.
deceive you, for Gaunter Odin does not advertise his true power at face value. No, he is often overlooked, and in being underestimated, he is capable of revealing the true nature of his subjects.
That guy's
For
just
those
eating
of
his
you
food.
unfamiliar with the frightening truth behind the humble mirror merchant, you must be wondering what exactly I'm rambling on about. Well,
Yes,
in this
please
video,
tell me.
I'm going to delve into this character steeped in mystery, and by the end, you'll know everything there is to know about the ominous Odin. Hey guys, my name is Drew, and welcome back
Hello,
to
Drew.
the Witcher Lore and Mythology series. In this video, I'm going to tackle arguably the most fascinating character in the entire Witcher universe, and
Tell
as
me.
usual, we'll be going beyond the events of the games to speculate on all of the information we have, relying on real-world religion and folklore to support our arguments.
Okay.
The moral of this story, in the case of Gaunter Odin, is that the devil is in the details. So let's get started.
Yikes.
Our encounters with the Mirror Merchant take us back to the beginning of our journey.
If you put it
in the
like
year
that.
1272, to the small settlement of White Olgierd. It's easy to forget about this detail, what with the search for Ciri and the conflict with the Wild Hunt, but little did Geralt know that something far more threatening than even Eredin, the king of the Wild Hunt, sat across the table from him at the White Orchard Inn. After
Really?
providing Geralt with information on Yennefer's whereabouts, Gaunter states that we men of the road must stick together. Perhaps one day I'll be in trouble and you'll be nearby to help.
Oh,
And
I
how
remember
right
The
he
Witcher
turned
now.
out to be.
Just by looking at
Mind
that
you,
guy's
he
face, the
says all
scar.
of this moments after telling Geralt that
I mean,
he
it's been a
isn't
while
omniscient.
since I've
And
seen
so,
The Witcher.
After some time passed,
Oh, hey
and the
there,
Northern
ugly
humans
frog.
were saved from the clutches of the
I
Wild
think I've seen
Hunt,
somewhere
Geralt
around you in
finds himself
town and
dire
has been.
straits, both figuratively
Someone
and
who looks like
literally.
you.
Geralt is aboard a ship headed for Ophir after inadvertently slaying the Ophiri prince who had been transformed into a monstrous toad by Olgierd von Everec.
Okay.
Odin offers to free Geralt from imprisonment in exchange for his cooperation, thus thrusting Geralt into a pact which granted him a brand on the side of his face. As far as Pacts
Oh.
with Odin are concerned, the Witcher got off lightly.
That
Now,
looks
aside from the Man
painful.
of Glass seemingly appearing out of thin air into
I
the
mean, if you
hold
want to
of
have
the
magical
ship, there
powers
is a
for your
peculiar
on your face, but
supernatural
that's
event that is
gonna be
worth
one weird
delving
way to
into.
do it.
Odin frees Geralt from captivity by unorthodox means, choosing to wreck the ship in a dangerous storm rather than simply conjuring a key or performing some trick on the cell's bars. After Odim vanishes, the storm arrives out of nowhere, and Geralt finds himself washed up
I
on
mean, that's
shore,
one way
where
to
he
open
must
the
fight
door,
the
but
Aetheri soldiers to save
you
his
could have
life.
just made a key.
It's quite easy to suspend your disbelief in a world where sorcerers and magicians can achieve magnificent feats with the flick of a wrist. Take the Land of a Thousand Fables, for instance, which I covered in a previous episode of the series. But we will soon get confirmation that Odim is no mage, and hates the artificial nature of spells and sorceries.
I see.
Assuming he is being earnest, how else could he control Mother Nature, bending the realms of possibility to create a natural disaster from nothing? Well,
I'm telling you, you're gonna tell me?
Odim theorize that his initials, G-O-D, should be taken quite literally. And while that is quite a logical leap,
G-O-D.
instances like this make it seem plausible. Throughout the Old Testament of the Bible, there are references to God influencing the weather, and it is explicitly stated that the devil cannot control the weather without the help of God. According to the Book of Psalms, chapter 148, verse 8, storms do his bidding. But there are plenty of other examples to support this. In the story of Jonah, chapter 1, verse 4, the Lord sent out a great wind, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea. Also, in the story of Job, chapter 1, verse 16, the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them. There's also obviously the story of Noah and his ark. But anyway, while it is heavily implied that
God
Gaunter
controls
shares
everything.
some similarities to the devil, I thought it would be interesting to know
He's
that
in control.
by real-world biblical standards, we can argue
There are
that
reasons why he do
Master Mira
these.
is actually more powerful than the Satan we know from Judeo-Christian teachings. But I'd hate to jump the gun, as for all we know so far, Gaunter Odim could be little more than a trickster, counting on pure chance to predict the change in weather.
He sounds more like Loki or Zeus would do something like this.
The Man of Glass. And this location is more than just a tranquil, secluded spot. If you watch my video on the Fiends and Chorts, or know a bit about religious portrayals of the devil, you'll know that crossroads seem to play a pivotal part in encounters with the forces of hell. In the Fiends and Chorts video, I made the point that meetings and bargains with the devil, or with demon ambassadors of the devil, usually take place at crossroads. And in a passage from the Malleus Maleficarum, a book dedicated to identifying Satanists and witches, there is an example of one of these meetings.
Yeah, there's some crazy people who do worship demonic things out there. I don't know why, it's just really messed up.
Master Mira's choice of meeting place proves to be quite
I mean, I was killed by an evil cult.
At this meeting that Geralt learns
when I just turned 18, they stuck a knife in my chest.
Geralt's assertion that he is in fact a mage. Now, Geralt's agreement with Odim sees him granting the free wishes of Olgierd.
Why am I down here?
A man whose pact with Odim we will get into
apparently
shortly.
these cults managed to sell my soul to the devil against my will.
This wish isn't very important to
what's keeping me alive? Heavenly magic.
There is one important secret
blessed by my dad.
The dialogue of this quest. When Geralt rows himself and his lover Shani out into the lake,
it doesn't keep me alive. It's protected.
Where the moon shines brightly down to reflect upon the lake. Shani asks Geralt to row her to the moon, to which Geralt responds,
row her to the moon.
To get to the moon. Shani then says, "You're dead wrong. Look, it's right there in the middle of the lake," pointing to the moon's reflection in the water.
I see what he means. I know what he means. You can't go to the moon yourself on Earth, you might as well choose the best thing. It's reflection.
For wordplay and riddles. Sometime later, in the wish to acquire Olgierd, the house of Maximilian Borsodi, we get a subtle glimpse
Maximilian Borsodi.
He has a
that is an
in
interesting
the
name.
thick of the action, usually going completely unnoticed. In fact, I'd wager my soul that many of you didn't even notice the multiple times Odin
Never sell your soul, people. It does not end well.
On my first playthrough. During the auction,
I never sold my soul.
House, Odin can be spotted in the background.
A cult leader.
Only visible
a cult
for a
leader.
of moments. And that's only
managed to sell my soul against my will. I don't know how.
Odin can be spotted
I mean, they ruined my life.
This time posing as a peasant in the village of
I died at the age
while the people are
of 18.
Spectacle put on by
I turned 18, which is the day I died.
One more instance of Odin hiding in plain
that was in 2003.
This time as a crossbow-wielding Redanian during the hostage negotiation in the auction house. As is often the case for this underestimated meager mirror,
look at this guy.
The devil is in the details. As
really?
The story progresses, we learn more about the nature of Olgierd von Everec's pact with Odin. Despite being born into an influential family, the von Everecks fell upon hard times, and this nearly lost Olgierd's potential betrothal to the love of his life, Iris Bilovitz. This resulted in Iris being promised to an Aetheri prince, This is the very same
I was
prince
expecting
Olgierd
something
transformed
scary
into a
since
toad.
it's, you know, October.
Now, we don't have the exact words of Olgierd's agreements with Odim, but we know the outcome. Olgierd's
But it
wealth
does
and
sound
power
interesting.
was restored. His marriage to his love, Iris, was also restored, and he wished to live like there's no tomorrow. But in exchange for his love, he had to sacrifice
Immortality.
his brother, and in exchange for immortality, his heart slowly turned to stone, preventing him from
Yeah, sounds about
savouring
right.
the very things he'd so dearly longed for in the first place. Interestingly, this plot point seems to be inspired by the German fairy tale Das kalte Herz, in which the
Really?
protagonist is granted free wishes
Never
from
heard
a
of it.
forest spirit,
Please enlighten
known
me.
as Glass Manline. Later in
Glass
the same
Manline.
tale, the protagonist
Okay.
cuts a deal with an evil sorcerer, Hollander Michel, who takes his heart and gives him a heart of stone in exchange for infinite money. During Olgierd's third wish at the von Everich estate, we learn a couple of
Oh, a
interesting
cat and a dog.
things. Firstly, if we take the rose from Iris, the peculiar pet conjured by Olgierd to keep Iris company will issue Geralt a warning. Seek salvation in glass that cannot be broken. More foreshadowing and more riddles. The other thing we learn
Of
is
course,
that
the
Olgierd's
riddles
attempts to
never
contact
end.
Odim with black magic.
Someone called Batman.
The
He's good at
tragic
taking down
reality of Olgierd's life
riddles.
with
I mean, he
Iris
fought the Riddler.
unfolds, and it would take a heart of stone not to feel for the doomed couple. Olgierd was never successful in summoning Master Mirror, but we learn of his methods.
Why am I not surprised?
Drawing a chalk pentagram in a circle of candles. In real life, a reversed pentagram.
That's
with
never
2
a good
points projecting
sign.
upwards
Never draw
is a
demonic
symbol of
circles.
evil and attracts
It's never a
sinister
good
forces
sign.
because it overturns the
I know
proper
there's some
order of
weirdos out
things
there who
and
would try and
demonstrates
summon
the
something like a
triumph of matter over
succubus or
spirit.
an attractive
It is the ghost
demon.
of lust attacking
Oh,
the
trust me,
heavens with
that's
its
not how it
horns,
works, buddy.
a sign
That's not how it
execrated by
works.
initiates. And as my last
I mean, the
video
demons
suggested,
in
the
this universe right here,
goat
in the Has-Been
beasts may
universe,
just be
and
linked to Odin.
H-Boss
And the presence of an
is a lot
upturned
different.
pentagram suggests the summoning of the devil, but alternatively, this process
This
failed
is
to
this.
summon
I'm a
Odin.
cartoon,
Maybe
so
that's simply because the Man of Glass is far
in
too
reality,
powerful to show up at the beck and
no.
call of every curious mortal. But it could also be because he is more than the devil. The ability to control the weather suggests as much, as do his initials.
The devil
And there is
doesn't
another
control
piece
the
of
weather.
evidence that comes to fruition when we meet with Odim in the Alchemy Tavern after completing the final wish. The Alchemy Tavern is bustling, and one excessively inebriated
The devil
patron
can't
chose
control
the wrong
nothing.
conversation to interrupt. In order to engage
devil
in a
can't control
conversation
anything.
with the Witcher, Odim stops the clock, freezing everyone.
Only
but
because people
himself
like to
and
put in their
Geralt
fan
place.
fictions or their
Geralt
stories.
may
They
have
make
an
them
aversion to
powerful and
displays of
terrifying.
emotion, but even he cannot help but be impressed by this trick.
I mean, be
It
honest
is
with
now
me.
when Geralt presses Odim for more information on his true identity.
Okay, guys, quick question. How any of y'all afraid? Why would anyone be afraid of the devil? Because in reality, why would you be afraid of someone whose destiny is to lose in the end? Yeah, and by the end of time, the devil's destiny is to lose and be gone forever. That is his fate. So yeah, best way to be on the winning side: give your life to God. Well, give your life to Jesus, actually, because that's the winning side.
Getting confirmation that he is not in fact a djinn or a demon. Nevertheless, Odin
Basically,
withholds this information, claiming that all who have learned my
the
true name
devil's
are now
already
either
lost
dead or have met
in
an
the
even
end.
worse fate. This can be construed to simply mean Odin disposes of anyone who learns
But
too
that won't
much
stop
about
you from
him,
making
but
fan
it also
fiction.
implies that those who learn too much about him are driven to insanity. There is an
Why
example
not?
of a person who studied Odin in great detail that we'll talk about in a moment. But for now, I'd like to
I
speculate
like how chilled
maybe
this
those
guy
who learn
is.
enough about
He's just
him
sitting on the
simply
table with his
struck by
arms
an
crossed, Indian
overwhelming
style.
barrage of nihilistic
I
depression.
miss sitting down
The
Indian
fact that
style.
Gaunter Odin may be the true god of the Witcher universe. It is not beyond the realm of belief for
The Witcher
mortals to
universe
feel
is
utterly hopeless.
is
If the
always been
omnipotent
interesting for
overseer
me.
of life itself is someone as severely sadistic as Gaunter
Although I
Odin,
never got
any hope of
into
enlightenment
it
or a peaceful
much.
afterlife goes right out the window. For the Man of Glass doesn't seem like the kind of guy to offer a heaven to his subjects.
Nice
Anyway,
nice
the important
glasses,
part
by the
of this
way.
meeting is the stopping of time, and this is the next damning piece of evidence that seems to suggest Gaunter Odin is the almighty god of this universe. There are two instances in the Old Testament of the Bible that saw the Lord freeze time. The first was in chapter 10 of the book of Joshua. In this chapter, God froze the sun and moon in place to give Joshua the advantage in battle with 5 wicked kings. The day God gave the Amorites up to Israel, Joshua spoke to God, with all Israel listening. Stop, sun, over Gibeon. Halt, moon, over Ajalon Valley. And sun stopped. Moon stood stock still until he defeated his enemies. The sun stopped in its tracks in midday, just sat there all day. Joshua, chapter 10, verses 12 to 14. The second incident was when King Hezekiah, on his deathbed, wanted to stop the clock and preserve his life. God was moved and gave him 15 more years. Watch
Wow.
for this. As the
That
sun
is
goes
true.
down and the shadow lengthens on the sundial of Ahaz, I'm going to reverse the shadow 10 notches on the dial. And that's what happened. The declining sun's shadow reversed 10 notches on the dial. Isaiah chapter 38 verse 8. In this second example, not only do we see God stopping time, but he
Yes.
also comes to a man with a wish beyond mortal capability. Only unlike Odin,
God
there
can
was
do
no
anything.
catch, no tricky wordplay to condemn Hezekiah to some circle of hell. The more we see of these examples, the more it seems that Gaunter Odim embodies the traits and powers of both God and Satan. Perhaps in the Witcher universe, these entities are one and the same.
Wow.
Odin warrants Geralt and
Just
Olgierd
put
to
the
meet
spoon
him at
inside the
ruins
guy's
of the
eye.
Temple of Lilvani. But before we get there,
Just toying
Charlie
with
supplies
with
Geralt with
human
some
lives.
important information on Odim. Apparently, a professor named Premathene Shakeslock was contracted by Von Everett to learn all there is to know about Master Mirror. And unsurprisingly,
Master
this came
Mirror.
with some gruesome consequences. Shakeslock was a teacher at the
Word that
Oxenford
it's Mirror
Academy
Master. You
and
get a
spent
DC
years
Flash character.
scrutinizing every manifestation of
DC
black
Comics.
magic. But it was when he focused his attention on the Mirror Merchant when things went downhill. You'd think
Okay.
a learned man with such knowledge of the occult would be intimidated by very little, but even he refers to Gaunter Odim as evil incarnate. According to his
Really?
research, there are records of encounters dating back thousands of years, in many cultures, under many names, but the common thread was that Gaunter was always portrayed as evil incarnate. In deciphering the ancient scrawlings, Shakeslock went blind, conveniently prevented from ever unveiling the truth. The
Oh.
professor's research was so thorough that Odim himself paid the man a visit. Now, Shakeslock lives within a circle of runes, with a pentagram of chalk very
That's
similar
not
to that
good.
which Olgierd had used in an attempt to contact the merchant. Despite being blind, Shakeslock saw him clear
Oh,
as
that-
day. Odim drew the circle and said the professor would be safe within it. However, were he to set foot outside of the circle, the weakened sealing brace would certainly kill him. And during
Oh.
the conversation, a falling
So if he gets
roof
out of the-
causes him to do exactly that. He stepped back, loosening a heavy bookshelf, and even though Geralt caught the falling shelf, Shakeslock slips on a bottle and breaks his neck
Oh,
on the chest.
no.
Quite the coincidence. Before his death, we learn Shakeslock's main takeaway
A
from the
chain of
research.
reaction
Odin
caused him to
plays with
die.
his victims
Yikes.
And thrives on Pacts above all else. He wields contracts, word traps, jewels of wits. Challenge him to such a duel and he will accept, and through this he can be defeated. But with Gaunter Odim, the stakes are always high, and you must wager your soul. Aside from the additional information we learn about Odim from Shakeslock, there is a small detail that is significant in his house that can be easily overlooked. On the floor above, we can see a broken mirror. This does not seem important right now, but soon that will be made clear when we
I know
come
this
to a
may not be
certain
exciting
riddle.
for any
This
of you
little
guys,
clue
but
gives
this
us a
was
good
requested
idea
on
of just how
Patreon.
much Shakeslock had
I
learned about
do
the Mirror
videos, I
Merchant's
take
mind
video
days.
requests on
Only he
Patreon.
lived a little longer. Now it's time to go to the meeting place, which Gaunter Odim was very particular
Later
about.
on, I'll be
When
doing
Olgierd made
another
his pact
Patreon
with
request.
Master Mirror, he
Then I'll
put
be
in
doing
place
some Devil
certain
Artemis reaction
requirements before
videos.
the merchant could obtain his soul. First, there was the 3 wishes, which were now fulfilled, but the second term was Olgierd's failsafe. In order for Odin
Well, I'll
to
let
outwit Von
Nylon
Everett,
do the
he
reaction
needed to be
videos,
standing upon
since
the
Devil
moon.
Artemis is
So
Dragon Ball
even
Z
when Odin made
related,
his ostentatious
in a way.
entrance, walking down from the sky, Olgierd still felt safe.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, Odin's experience with riddles and wordplay somehow made the inconceivable totally possible. With a gesture,
Walking down the
dust
sky
scattered
like
to reveal
stairs.
an old tile design of the moon on the floor of the Temple of Lilvani, and thus the terms of the contract were met. This part of the story seems to take inspiration from the old Polish folk legend of Mr. Twardowski. In this tale, the pact specified that the devil could only collect the nobleman's soul when the nobleman visited Rome, which of course the nobleman had no intention of doing. This allowed him to escape his pact until he stayed at an inn called Rizim, which means Rome in Polish, and then the devil came to collect. Once again, the devil is in the details, and he has every right to take his due, but Shakeslock's words of wisdom come to mind now, and the challenge offered by Geralt of double or nothing is too lucrative for Odim to pass up. Geralt
Okay.
is then sent to a hellish realm of illusions and tricks, and he is posed a riddle. The riddle goes as follows: To all things and men I appertain, and yet by some am shunned and disdained. Fondle me and ogle me till you're insane, but no blow can harm me, cause me pain. Children delight in me, elders take
See.
fright. Fair maids rejoice and spin. Cry and I weep, yawn and I sleep. Smile and I too shall grin. What am I? Many distractions lie between Geralt and the answer to the riddle.
Interesting.
Shani can be found desperately hanging from a broken bridge, calling for Geralt to help. Many monsters in obscure shadowy forms can be found to block the Witcher's path. A legendary sword lies buried in the stone awaiting a new wielder. There is even a cave overflowing with golden gemstones. Love and material possession. Gaunter O'Dim knows what lies within the hearts of humans, and will abuse these desires to win the wager. The riddle world is set up to give Geralt one predictable red herring. Smile and I too shall grin. Of course he's talking about a mirror. But that painfully obvious solution is met with broken glass whenever Geralt tries to find O'Dim. It is now that we must reminisce about past experiences and clever foreshadowing. Shani on the lake.
It's an interesting design of this world. It's always been fascinating.
Row me to the moon. Look, it's right
Row
there,
me to
in
the
middle of
moon.
lake. Shani spoke of the reflection in the still water. And how about Iris von Everett's otherworldly animals? Seek salvation in glass that cannot be broken. Is that why we saw a broken mirror in Shakeslock's study? Was he trying to solve the very same riddle, only to no avail? Maybe that's how he wound up in the circle of death in the first place. It would have been uncharacteristic of O'Dim to place him there without winning a wager of sorts first. Regardless, Geralt had no intention of going the way of the blind man. No, Geralt heeded the hints of his dear friends and lover, and looked to the reflection in the fountain, where Master Mirror's menacing visage could be seen hiding. When Geralt caught him, his human charade was faltering, his eyes were like a serpent's, his jaw and cheeks gaunt and demonic. He then speaks in a haunting tone.
But that's terrible. But that's creepy
tongues.
features.
First, in Antillean Creole French, he says, "You're a cock, and the cock is king only atop his pile of manure." This figure of speech essentially means you're a proud fool, and you can't even begin to grasp your own insignificance. The second sentence is in Georgian, and it translates to, "You think you've won. No, you are wrong." And finally, in
Of course, there's always villains always do that.
Language, "I can't die. I'm going now, but I'll be back." And with Olgierd von Everett's soul rescued from the clutches of evil, there is little more to be said about Gaunter O'Dim. There are a few literary references that seem to have inspired CD Projekt Red's character, and these come from the works of Stephen King. In King's
Stephen King's
universe
involved in
stories,
this.
There is a character known as Randall Flagg, who is alluded to be the devil. This becomes interesting as the character seems to adopt many different monikers in his appearances throughout the literature. In The Dark Tower, for instance, he is known as Walter O'Dim, and then in Needful Things, the evil entity who owns the shop is named Leland Gaunt. Put the two together and we have Gaunter O'Dim. There is one other significant reference to the influence of Gaunter O'Dim that's worth talking about, but I regret to say that will have to wait, as I intend to cover it in great detail in a video coming very soon. I'll tell you this much, Master Mirror has doomed yet another soul who spurned his humble merchant persona, and this occurrence takes us to the land of Toussaint. So, to conclude, we know that demons and djinns have a strong connection with wishes and pacts, in which the soul is at stake, but we've heard out of the horse's mouth that Master Mirror is neither of these things. We can also trust that Gaunter O'Dim is no mere sorcerer.
The thing about demons and djinns, they always rip you off.
Our encounter with him has proven he is capable of far,
They always rip you off.
The evidence and speculation surrounding
demons
the
or
mysterious figure
djinns
seems to be split down the middle. Some things seem to suggest that Gaunter O'Dim is the devil, while others would lean towards the fact that he is more than
they could be far off. He does act like one.
He is in fact God. I personally like to believe that Gaunter O'Dim is a
god
combination
complex.
of the two. The Witcher universe is full to the brim with suffering and tragedy. For the vast majority
A god
of the world's
complex. Why?
inhabitants,
Of
who
course.
weren't important
Gotta
enough to be the
always have a villain with one of
stories
those.
of gallantry. Life consisted of working yourself to death, or alternatively, working until some horrific external force killed you before it could. The romantics who shoot for the stars, seeking out unimaginable powers to grant their wishes and desires, were instead cursed and left to wallow in the remains of what they wished for. Maybe I'm being a bit of a nihilist here, but I can't help but think of the mortals driven to madness after learning the true identity of
I've seen a lot of creepy stuff in my day.
To every night was in actuality this monster. They'd be hard pressed not to die from grief. And on that pleasant note, I'll end the video. I hope you enjoyed the latest installment of my Witcher
It was
series.
fascinating. I learned a lot.
Fascinating character of Gaunter
I learned a lot, I must say.
If you had fun, maybe give the video a like. Your
Sure, why
support means
not?
the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Drew, and I will see you later.
Take care, Drew. Well, that was The Witcher 3, The Secret of Gaunter O'Dim. Guess he was like a devil, an evil genie combined rolled into one. I learned something about The Witcher. I think we all did too. Fascinating. I was expecting to be scared here, but it was a creepy story. But I quite learned a lot from it. It was interesting. Thank you, Nevin Punzal. Nevin Punzal for the Nevin Punzal for the video. Patreon requests. Yeah. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe for more. What were your thoughts on this? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you didn't enjoy it, that's okay. It's okay. There are more videos along the way, and some Devil Artemis videos. I'll leave that to Nylon. I need to me and Frost really need to let Nylon do all the Devil Artemis videos. I mean, it's Dragon Ball Z content. Dragon Ball Z is his thing. As always, take care, have a great day, be safe, and most importantly, have a fun October and stay safe out there. Take care, guys, and have a great October. Bye.